ESPN Radio.
We're going to be live on ESPN, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube every single day from 4 to 4:30. And you can always check us on Jalen's Instagram account when he goes live from time to time. Jalen, we're going to start the show with a very important message from a gentleman in the National Football League named Michael Evans. Obviously, he is one of the most underappreciated, underrated receivers in the league. He plays for the Buccaneers, and he's got a new quarterback, and he was asked about his new quarterback in an interview, and here's what he had to say. I love it so much. Quote, he said, "It's surreal. He's about to be my quarterback. I've been on that Hennessy, man. Oh, I'm drinking. I got Tom Brady." Jalen Rose, what do you think about Mike celebrating with the Henny because he's got TB12 under center?
He's so enthusiastic to have a 6-time champion, a guy that's been to the Super Bowl 9 times for a franchise that has the worst win percentage in all of professional sports. I'm happy for him too, because as a great receiver, he's kind of flown under the radar for the past few seasons. Now they're going to have more nationally televised games. Yep. National media is going to cover them and talk more about the intimate details of their team. And I think he's going to get the respect that he deserves. And that's the inner city way to celebrate Hennessy, dog. Who are some of the people that promote Hennessy? Like Rakim? You know, he's a legend. And Nas, I can't front. I was watching Last OGs with Tracy Morgan, and I saw Rakim on there. I almost passed out. And he was a barber.
Right now.
And he was a barber. I text Tracy Morgan like, man, y'all should have put me in that clip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for Mike Evans. And the great American philosopher David Jacoby once taught me, keep expectations low. You know, he went to Tampa Bay. And shade shots at people that live there, because I know about a fun street that you guys have. A really fun street. Like my number should be retired in a couple of those establishments, by the way. A couple of fun streets. They haven't been relevant. And as a Lions fan, there's certain fan bases that I kind of look at and I kind of feel sympathy for them and hope they feel the same way I feel. It was like that when the Cubs couldn't win a big one. Or the Red Sox. And then they finally did it. I cheer for them. Or the Browns, who still are struggling. Or the Cavs when they finally done it. Like the Buccaneers are one of those squads.
They got one. They got one.
I know, but they got how many?
One. Okay. They got as many Lombardi trophies as the Lions have playoff wins in like the last.
No, they got the worst win percentage in all of each of the 4 professional sports. What are you saying?
It is, but now they got Tom Brady. And again, like you said it before, again, this is just a life lesson. It's nothing to do with sports. In all aspects of life, especially professionally, when you take on a new position, keep expectations as low as possible. And if you're Tom Brady, like when you have Super Bowl expectations, if you don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure when you're wearing the Patriots colors. But when you're in Tampa, you win a playoff game, they throw a parade. All those places that Jalen was talking about earlier, you'll never ever pay for anything in one of those places again. And I may or may not have been to those places multiple times in my 20s as well. Shout out to Mom's Venus. So that's one thing we had to start with just because of the Hennessy. Hennessy also had to mention I'm not going to say I've never had Hennessy. I don't think I've ever bought a bottle of Hennessy in my life.
Really?
I've never bought a bottle in my life. Or we did, because we had Thug Passions. We made Thug Passions one day. Hennessy nowadays. Yeah, back in my college days, I used to drink more. In the last decade, I haven't bought a bottle.
You got it going on. Give me some Thug Passion. Let me just say, when Mobb Deep first came out, they gave me a Hennessy resurgence. At first, I was off of it. There were certain things I was off. I was off OE. I was off St. Ides. I was off Cisco. I was off Mad Dog 2020. And then I thought I was off of Hennessy. And then all of a sudden, dun-dun, yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun. That dun-dun. There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide. I was like, yo, let me get 3 bottles of that, please.
They got a whole song about Hennessy. A whole song about Hennessy.
had shirts on and everything.
So, Jay, obviously when Tom Brady gets to Tampa, he's replacing Jameis Winston. Great quarterback. Great quarterback. Had a turnover from, but great quarterback. And he still doesn't have a team to play on. Him and Cam Newton don't have a team to play on. So we want to find out where they're going to play. So we have to introduce one of the characters from our program. Tell me by name. A truth teller. A future seer. Rostradamus. So Rostradamus, we have two simple questions. I'll start with gentleman by the name of Cam.
Oh, Cam.
Killer Cam. Killer Cam, Killer Cam, Killer Cam, Killer Cam, Killer. Cam Newton, Rostradamus. Where will Cam Newton play professional football next year?
So anybody that's played musical chairs, the music is still going for the starting quarterbacks in the game. That's right. I said it. Cam Newton. Y'all need to put some respect on his name with a K, like Birdman on Breakfast Club. He's still a top 10 quarterback. Still a top 10 quarterback. Therefore, I want him to go somewhere with weapons, low expectations, and a fan base that really doesn't support their team. The Los Angeles Chargers.
People in Los Angeles are watching this right now like, oh, they're the Los Angeles Chargers now? Oh, they're not still San Diego? I thought they're still San Diego.
That's where I want him to go. They cover all of the bases. Really good dual threat running back. Really good tight end. Elite wide receiver. People don't come support their squad. Don't even know they're in LA yet. I want Cam to have the opportunity to play under center for those guys.
I absolutely agree.
And you ready for this? To be in the AFC. Because like with Mike Evans, and I said this about Tom Brady. Tom Brady left the AFC. That's the Viagra conference at quarterback. You got Mahomes. You got Lamar. You got Watson. And hopefully you'll have Cam. And he went to the Geritol conference. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan.
Matt Stafford.
Correct. Make sure y'all send me that clip for social because that's what happened. And therefore, I want to see Cam in LA. And he don't wear outfits, Jacoby. He don't wear outfits. He wear costumes.
Oh, yeah. He belongs in LA.
He wear costumes. He belongs on the big stage in LA.
He really does. So, Rostradamus, first of all, I am very curious why you call the AFC the Viagra Conference, but I will never, ever, ever ask a follow-up question about it. So we're going to have to move on to a gentleman by the name of Jameis Winston. Someone I love to watch him just because he's exciting to watch. I wouldn't know if I would love to coach him or love him to be the quarterback of my team. But Jameis Winston has a lot of years left being a starting quarterback in the NFL. Where do you see him playing next season, Rostradamus?
So I really like Jameis. But unlike Cam, he never won MVP. He never took a team to the Super Bowl. He wasn't voted the best player in the game because he was so very dual threat and talented. The first guy that I've seen really do both since Steve Young. I need Jameis to ease his way in. I don't need headlines. I need like, oh, okay, Jameis signed and he coming to be in work mode. He can learn from somebody. He can grow in a situation. And you know, if the NFL had expanded their playoff format this season, one of the teams that would have made the playoffs is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh!
Mike Tomlin did a really good job with that squad. Now look at how Big Ben plays. In the pocket, he's like a refrigerator. He shakes people off. He's not scrambling with his feet, but he's big enough and he's unorthodox enough to throw people off of him to still get a big play downfield. That's kind of how I see Jameis. So imagine Jameis learning from Mike Tomlin, and I'm thinking about how AB behaved when he was in Pittsburgh publicly and then was out of the league a couple of years later. I think Tomlin can help him up here and the stability of the franchise that's Pittsburgh. And Big Ben can help him in the quarterback room as somebody that's going to play from the pocket. And while Big Ben was injured last year and found ways to be really durable, he's up there in age. I don't anticipate he's going to start every game next year. Jameis would be the perfect person to bring in if Ben Roethlisberger isn't available.
I love that call. You know, Roethlisberger does have injury issues. He missed most of last season, and he's got a big, gigantic beard. You can't be making great life decisions. You got a gigantic beard. Like it's just really. If I was Tom and I said a beard, I'd be like, we need Jameis. I mean, we need Jameis. You see my starting quarterback's beard? We need Jameis in here. And it seems like after every season, Ben Roethlisberger has to tell you that he's not retiring. You know, it's been like 4 years in a row now, and now he did it with a big beard. I'd be concerned. I wouldn't mind a little insurance on that because we've all seen what their backup quarterbacks look like, and those backup quarterbacks. Shout to Duck. Almost got him to the playoffs. So, Jalen, we're going to move on now to a really sneaky, important story in the National Basketball Association that I want you to take us behind the curtain on a little bit. Because it looked like a small headline, not a big deal. But to those of us in the know, this is actually a huge story in the NBA. Steve Ballmer opened up the checkbook. And they bought from MSG. Remember who that is, from MSG. They bought from MSG, a venue that young people might not be that familiar with. They live outside of Los Angeles. I'd say if you're under 30, these two words don't mean that much to you, but they should, and I want you to explain to them why they should. Ballmer and the Clippers franchise bought the Forum. So Jalen Rose, imagine right now someone's watching us. They're locked in their crib. They're on IG Live. They're watching us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and they don't know about the Forum. Tell them what this means for the Clippers and what the Forum means to Los Angeles.
So I want to say a few things. I love Steve Ballmer. He's a fellow Michigander. He's really philanthropic. He's really intelligent. And he turned around the prospects of the Clippers since he took over for Donald Sterling, who were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of sports, worst record, worst decisions. Shout to Lloyd Vaught. They need to retire his number in the NBA. So now, since he's taken over that team, one of the main dominoes was hiring Doc Rivers. And then you look throughout the front office, Lawrence Frank, Jerry West, like they've done a really good job of remaking their entire team, from Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and JJ Redick, to now what it is and has become. You can't build another stadium if you're the Clippers unless you buy the Forum, because there's just a conflict of interest business-wise. So that was like a boss move that they put in front of him as an obstacle. And so what he did was like, not only am I going to buy it, but he's going to do the Randy Moss. It was like straight cash, homie. Boom. Straight cash, homie. So he bought it, Jacoby, just so you know. So I want to know what fat neck boys did he have walking up to this purchase with him carrying that kind of money. That's what I want to know. Because you need some protection, you showing up with that kind of bread. So you really are serious about what you're trying to get accomplished. And I know a lot of people feel like the NBA has a pressure of when it should start. No, it don't. The NBA, the NFL Shield is the strongest brand in sports. However, the NBA players are the strongest brand in sports. So while we're going to be enthusiastic about Drew Brees and Tom Brady playing against each other in their 40s and promoting that, we'll be more excited, or at least just as excited, as LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard playing game 4, 5, and 6, and 7 in the NBA playoffs. Don't get it twisted. So this is why Ballmer makes that move, and it gets him closer to not being the JV team playing in the Staples Center because they have no retired jerseys. They have no statues in front of the building. They're like a tour or a concert that plays there. So now it validates and legitimizes them in a space where they can have their own real estate.
Yo, for real, I also think that if they have their own building, and they obviously have a basketball product that is equal to, if not better than, or slightly worse than what the Lakers are putting on the floor. But when they're playing the Staples Center, it's basically in a way. If you have your own building, you have your own season ticket holders, you have your own local fans, you can actually, in a playoff series, have a home court advantage, which they currently don't.
But I got to tell you something. That's really important.
Sure.
I got drafted in 1994, i.e. I became rich. So I started living in LA that summer. State Theater. I got drafted in June. Soul Night in Detroit. I was driving my new Burgundy Suburbans that had real TVs in it, not monitors. I know people are used to what they see now. I had 4 real TVs in my car.
4? Four?
Because I had the people in the back needed TVs and I needed a TV.
Did you even have cable? You have salary? Or you just like had the 3 networks, like ABC, NBC, CBS?
Yeah, it's like whack networks. Yeah, it was like, now that I think about it, it's like whack networks. Ultimately, we really just ended up listening to the radio. But I had 4 TVs in the truck, okay? And let me tell you something. Went to the State Theater one night, in the wrong place at the wrong time. After I got drafted, had an altercation, a physical altercation. My crew and another crew, and by the way, it wasn't like we was claiming that. It just like my friends and, step on my shoe, bump into my shoulder, nothing, really.
Sure.
Ended up getting into an altercation. Rest in peace, my brother Cino. And we were leaving and got into a physical altercation. I jump into the ride, jump over a medium, jump down on the 75 freeway. I had an apartment downtown. Call my agent like, yo, Norm Nixon, love you, him and Debbie. That was my first agent because I was like, I want to be more than a job. I want to be an entertainment. He's married to Debbie Allen. Shout to John McClain, my godfather. Like, Jacoby, I'm a leader. I set the table for these guys. I produced the Fab $5. So I'm like, yo, this happened. And you know what else? I think I hurt my shoulder when I punched somebody. Oops. And he was like, yo, you didn't sign your contract. You need to get out of Detroit immediately and come to LA where you could be a small fish in a big pond. I'm going to take you to get treatment into the hospital and whatever. I couldn't lift my shoulder above my arm. I'm a first-round pick in the NBA draft, and my shoulder was messed up, and I didn't even get paid yet. So he had me come to L.A. I stayed out there at the La Montrose that summer, right off Sunset Boulevard, and I started living there. And so just so you know, the Denver Nuggets didn't make the playoffs that year. But you know what I was doing? When the Lakers made the playoffs between 94 and 2000 when I made it, I was going to their games. And you know what was cracking?
What?
The Forum Club.
Forum.
Hey, and you know what else? I don't even know. Rest in peace to the late, great owner, Dr. Jerry Buss. For some strange reason, I was standing in line at the club, and he was like, yo,
he wanted you in the purple and gold. I like that
he was like, let him in. And at first, I stood back because they took Eddie Jones over me. And I love Eddie Jones. I ain't here to debate whether he was a better player. Like, that's my dude. I played against him twice in college. Like, I don't even care. It is what it is. But he saw me, Jacobs, and I went from watching the games at the Forum Club to watching the games in his suite. And for anybody that knows, Dr. Jerry Buss, and I say this with respect, not in any way trying to I'm trying to elevate his legacy when I say this. As a kid from the west side of Detroit, hey, man, I saw so much eye candy. I was like, yo, look at that hair. Look at those thighs. Look at that cleavage. Look at those feet. Look at those diamonds. I'm like, wow, this is how they do it in LA? And just so you know, I was like, I'm getting a crib out here. I'm getting a crib out here. I'm getting a spot out here, like straight up. So since 1994, anybody will tell you that Jalen was in LA for sure. So shout to the original Forum because it played a part in my inauguration into the NBA. No doubt. I never played good there. You may be able to Google it right now.
I like that. Never. You average 4 points and 7 turnovers from the Forum.
Never.
We gotta get that research. We gotta get research.
I don't even remember making a good play there. Like nothing. Nothing. I was nothing. Because I was living out there, playing for Denver. And then we came there. The parties I had at my crib before those games, I was nothing. I was nothing when we played. Nothing. Please Google it right now. Jalen Rose at LA, 94 to 2000. Now, in 2000, I gave him that work in the finals. But until I had to get over it. It took me a while. LA is beautiful. It's amazing. It took me a while. But you know what else I learned when I went out there? I was at the Century Club. People waiting in line down the street. They let me in. It was love. I'm shouting out Pop. I'm hanging out with Trey. Like, that's when Interscope was really death row and they was popping. And I was like, wait a minute. Well, all these people got business cards. Like, everybody's giving me a business card. Like, everybody's a CEO or president of something. Like, oh, okay. So you own a trucking company. You know what? Hey, my guy got the tires. I'll make sure that they're not, like, everybody had a card for what you need. And then I realized that I was a little slow because I was from the Midwest. I was like, oh, they hustling me. Like when I went to New York, they played 3 Caramonte. I'm like, oh, they hustling me. But I figured it out.
You really played 3 Caramonte in New York? You're so dumb. You're so dumb, Jay. You're so dumb. Yeah. So Jay, it's that was an impromptu story time with Jalen Rose. Appreciate it. I think we should look at your stats in Miami, New York, Atlanta, Los Angeles versus your stats in other cities. Like, if I'm gonna get research, I'm gonna get Hembo. I'm gonna get Hembo to do this. I'm gonna get Hembo to look up your stats in certain cities, smaller cities. We'll set a demarcation, like cities with under 2 million people versus cities with over 2 million people, and we'll see what your stat lines are. I would love to do that.
LA don't fall into this category because shout out to Above the Law. It got palm trees, low riders, and movie stars, and it closed it too. LA don't fall into this category. But let me tell you the other cities that you should also look up, like you said, that do fall into this category. Where you got to take a nap before you go get it in. So, like, I came to New York, and I was like, yo, we landed at 4 or 5. I'm going to go to dinner at 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to go to the spot at like 12. They're like, nah, dog. They're like, New York people don't even look at nobody in New York before 3 in the morning.
It is now.
It is now. Okay.
Time. Tommy, get ready. Soft move. Her boss. Okay. Jalen. We talk about the quarterback carousel so often. So we have Marcus Mariota, no longer backing up Ryan Tannehill, lost his job to Tannehill, the Titans, and now he joined the Raiders. And when I saw this, I said, oh, this is fun. We got John Gruden. He's got quarterback whisperer. He's got, Derrick there, great quarterback. And he's now got Mariota. This will be fun. They'll compete for the job in training camp. Well, Mariota said, quote, this is Derrick's team, end quote. Soft move or boss move, acting like you're happy to be the backup on your new team when you're Marcus Mariota.
BK, you right. Jacoby did ignore my Darrelle Revis. Appreciate everybody supporting us. I think that last year in Tennessee, Mariota lost chips on Lakers, gassed off Shaq, and Tannehill played one good season and got a bigger check than Dak Prescott, even though Dak played multiple years. John Gruden, as well as the Raiders GM, and like I told you, they invited us to come do our show at their training camp or their facilities or whatever they're doing, because I got Mark Davis and John Gruden on the text, and they watch our show like Adam Silver religiously. I think that the writing's on the wall for Derrick Carr, and we all know it. Contractually, with all things equal, they wouldn't have him as their quarterback. But since, you know, he's still on the quarterback, he's still on the contract, he's going to count against their cap, they're going to use him this year. But I think their signing of Mariota is the, whichever one it is the sign that he's going to be the future of their franchise. That's what they want. They want Mariota to be the future of their franchise at quarterback. And you know what else going to make me sad? Can I tell you a bad Lion seed this is why you a Die Easy fan. Can I tell you something? Let me tell you something that's going to make me sad. Players like Derrick Carr end up playing for the Lions.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, you can see that. I mean, Tua might not be available. So you might
He'll be available at 3. He's going to be available.
You never know. Washington could trade that pick.
Do you realize you've been on Woodward? You've been on Grand River. You've been to Detroit multiple times. There's a street and a spot named Jacoby. Do you realize what Tua, would do for the city? Oh, man, it'd be a game changer, a dual threat quarterback? Oh, man, it'd be such a franchise guy. Dog, I'll have his jersey and buy season tickets the day they drafted him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're going to make a bad mistake if we don't take him.
If he's available, you absolutely have to take him. If they don't take him, I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
I'll take him just to trade him if you don't want him. You have to take him. He's a quarterback.
Jay, it's now time for the Corona Chronicles. This is where we just kind of update everybody on what's going on with the latest, with the epidemic, the pandemic that's sweeping the nation. Let me tell you what the latest with the Brody Road is for me in my life. Here, I've gotten to the stage. This is for everyone who doesn't live in one of the hot spots, you know, Seattle or New York or Southern California or Southern Florida. I got people in my phone now. That's what's happening now. I'm at that stage. I'm at that stage where people in my phone, people I talk to, like, oh, I got to tell you something. I've got it. Like, this is really, really. If you are in one of those cities that still has restaurants and bars open, that still thinks it's something that's remote, still thinks something that's not going to happen to them, there are mad people in my phone that have now sort of like said that they had it, they kind of got over it, they had it, it was bad. And I want to give a big shout out to the second guy in my rec league team, Jalen, Pat Spittler. You know Pat, he came to the Globetrotters game, to the Generals game, represent Washington Generals. You know Pat Spiller? Pat Spiller had it. And he's got 3 kids. So now his wife is laid up with it. His wife's got a bad. She's had it day after day. He's got 3 kids in the house that he's got to take care of and recover from the Ronnie Roan. I want to give a big shout to Pat. And I want to just tell everybody that doesn't have somebody in their phone that has been, you know, infected with this disease yet. This is a very serious thing. Make sure you take care of yourself and social distance. For real. What's the latest with you in the Corona Chronicles?
So a few things. Number one, big shout and health and blessings to your teammates' family, as you mentioned, that I got a chance to meet him. I want to acknowledge something, and you know, I pride myself in following social and political topics as much as I do sports. And one of the things I will say is that brace yourself for this comment. We could all have it because we're not all going to get tested, and there are people that have it that don't show symptoms.
Of course.
That's just the reality of the deal. And for those that get acknowledged having it and continue to be beacons for while we should continue to social distance, I want to make sure I send shouts and prayers out to Karl Anthony Towns and his family. Watching his video, as somebody that's watched my mom deal with health issues, go to 7 chemotherapies and do biopsies and have a collapsed lung. And then our family lost my brother. And I applaud the strength of my mother so very much. She has the best, and she's the toughest person that I know. And based on what is happening, and I'm not here to alarm people or scare people, but I'm kind of here to give like awareness, because I really read, I really listen, I really pay attention. Unfortunately, this is going to get a little bit, and I say a little bit to kind of be kind, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by that is more people realizing that they have it. The economy is going to be horrible. I saw the $2 trillion stimulus package that was distributed that didn't necessarily hit some of the marks that I feel like that it should hit. But also it had me ask another question. And then I'm back to Jalen and Jacoby style. Boom, funny, just jokes. We need our reparations. You know, America, let me tell you something. We did 400 plus years of slavery. Black people need our reparations. You came out with this stimulus. You came out with this stimulus package in 3 or 4 days. It took 400 years and we still ain't got reparations. What's up, dog?
We might be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock on ESPN Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. And make sure you check out Media Comms in the Daily every day and Jalen Jacoby podcast. We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that, Jalen Rose?
We're not done. We're not done. We're not done.
You try to get us fired.